Hello guys, thank you for clicking our video. So as promised, this is the last vlog natin. I will now be sharing our experience with Royal Caribbean Spectrum of the Seas. So this is going to be a 4-night cruise sailing from Singapore, going to Penang, Malaysia and Phuket, Thailand, and going back to Singapore. I just want to let you know nga pala na this trip was from back in September of last year. Medyo tinamad lang talaga tayo mag-edit, so kaya ngayon lang namin to ipapublish. First step, of course, is to get to the pier, which is accessible through the Marina South Pier Station. I believe it was around 10 to 15 minutes walk to the pier from the MRT, depending on your pace. And here we just finished checking in and then boarded the ship. And guys, nga pala, if you want to know how much we spent for this cruise, please watch until the end of this video. I will be sharing some information about the cost of cruising Royal Caribbean International. First order of business, we went to Windjammer, the buffet restaurant of Royal Caribbean International ships. And then after that, we headed straight to our room as soon as it became available. Now this is called the Sea Pass card. It serves several purposes. So it's your room key, that's first, and it's also your onboard charge card. So meaning buying drinks, souvenirs, etc. You just tap it to pay, just like how credit card, debit card works. And then most importantly, it serves as your identification card while on the cruise. And then here is our accommodation for 4 nights. It's called an interior stateroom. And it is the least expensive among all the different room categories that we have on most cruise ships. So that's going to be like an ocean view stateroom, balcony stateroom, and then of course the suites. And here, let me going to show you around. It's got everything you normally get in like a hotel room. So the bed, TV, sofa, there's a vanity table, and then there's a wardrobe with safety bags, and of course the restroom. So every embarkation day or yung first day ng cruise, they do this parang kick-off party sa may pool deck. Super fun, gets you pumped up for the coming days. And then here, this is the Seaplex, so mostly for the kids and young adults. So maraming mga activities dito, tulad nito, yung mga games, arcade games, and archery. Now we're here at the Royal Theatre catching our first show. So this is also included, no additional charges. It's just really amazing knowing that all of these facilities we're seeing are all inside this huge ship. Pag nasa loob ka talaga, para ka lang nasa isang malaking mall. It was really hard to, you know, to think na nasa malaki lang kayong barko lumulutang sa dagat. It's just amazing. And then our first dinner on board, here's the menu. So pause nyo na lang, I mean. But we had roasted prime rib during that night. This is day 2 of our cruise. We'll be arriving in Penang and we'll explore the area. But first, we had our breakfast muna ulit sa Windjammer. You have options, by the way, whether you go to the main dining area or here sa buffet, or even yung mga cafes and other open stalls or food stalls sa ship. This is called the solarium. We weren't able to go here often kasi it is an adult only area, and as you know, we have Nala with us, so dumanan talaga kami just to see it. And sayang kasi ang chill talaga ng place, like walang music or anything, sound lang talaga ng waves of water, maririnig mo and some people talking. So maybe the next time na lang na we cruise, but for now, yeah. So here, enjoy lang muna namin yung pool area while waiting to arrive sa Penang. Pero we didn't stay for long kasi malamig yung tubig and pakasipulin yung bata. Go swim, Nap. So after that, we went to the main dining room to see what they offer sa lunch. Pero di kami masyadong nabusog. So before we left the ship to explore Penang, dumaan muna ulit kami sa Windjammer. Okay, so we're here now in Penang. We just set foot in the island, and just look at how massive this ship is. And it's not even the largest ship of Royal Caribbean International. But anyway, Penang is of course a Malaysian state. We're docked here sa Penang Island, where Georgetown, the capital city, is located. So we'll just be roaming around this part of the city until World War II. Upon my research, this was a British colony, and today it is recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Very Western yung vibe dito, Europe. Like yung architectural townscape niya is very similar to Europe na napapanood ko sa mga movies, sa videos, sa other vlogs, which I liked. So I really had a good time here. We were actually thinking kung mag-a-avail kami ng mga parang private tour service dun sa mga taxi na naghihintay sa labas ng pier. But I'm glad na we decided against it and just stayed here around the Georgetown area. Kasi depende siguro sa'yo kung paano ka mag-appreciate nung mga lugar na pinupuntahan mo. But for us, we really had a good time here, just chilling, walking around. Meron din dito mga small Chinese and also Buddhist temples. Known din sila sa mga street arts. And they also have an area called Little India as well as Little Chinatown. Ang hindi lang namin mahanap talaga is yung parang marketplace para sana matry yung different kinds of food. Parang not until pabalik na kami ng ship na may nakita kaming parang food bazaar across the highway. Kaso nagkatamaran na kaming tumawid kasi medyo malayo. And almost dinner na rin naman, so just passed on it. And yeah, again, next time na lang siguro kung makakabalik. What? My very nice girl, my very sweet girl, my pango girl. Third day of our cruise, we're now getting ready to explore Phuket, Thailand. But first, I want to show you the food that you can expect sa Windjammer should you take this itinerary. Please know that this cruise we took was tagged or labeled as a culturally enriching cruise. So that means that at least 75% of guests on board are coming from a specific country or region. So for example, on this one, most of the guests are from Southeast Asia. So they actually had lechon sa Windjammer, and I believe it was tapsilog dun sa main dining room. Di nga lang na namin siya tinry since, lagi na nga kami busog, wala nang paglagyan yung pagkain. So, of course, we want to try those foods na hindi namin masyadong nasusubukan.
baby.
Actually, that's for sure. We are more than them, really sure.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we have officially set foot here in Phuket, Thailand. It was just really unfortunate na yung season na nag-visit kami dito is sa kabilang side kami ng Phuket nag-tender because of some sea conditions. The usual kasi is supposed to be at the Patong Beach, which is I believe it was the western side of the island. But it's beyond our control, so we just made the most out of our time here. Phuket is one of the oldest cities in Thailand. This is also said to be where the Chinese immigrants first landed. We honestly didn't have the best time here since first nga, instead of Patong Beach, dito kami sa eastern side ng island binaba sa Ao Makham Bay, which is literally on the opposite side of Patong Beach. And if you're familiar with Phuket, you want to be in the Patong Beach area where there's more shops, there's more cafes, activities, and also like transportation options. And the other thing that stressed me out or us out is yung van na hinar namin didn't bring us to our supposed destinations. We were supposed to go to the Chai Tararam temple, but he just brought us to like a closer, smaller temple here in Phuket. But anyway, we still had an okay time here. It's honestly very similar lang din sa rural areas ng Pinas, like provinces, except their roadways are much wider and better. So more developed talaga yung city. We got to try some of their food. Yung parang meron silang karinderya na tinry namin, sinuggest ng driver namin. And then we also shopped a bit sa souvenir shops nila and 7-Eleven as well. So yan, siguro kung pupunta kayo dito sa Phuket, Thailand, either via cruise or talagang bibisita lang kayo, I suggest na linawin nyo talaga yung usapan nyo ng driver nyo na i-hire nyo for private tours para iwas aberya.
Kawawa naman yung damit mo.
Ha?
So this will be our last full day on board. So kinabukasan, magdi-disembark na kami early in the morning, around 8 a.m., 9 a.m. This is called Day at Sea kapag sa Royal Caribbean International ship ka. I'm not sure with other cruise lines. So basically, it means that the ship will not be visiting any port of calls, or you'll just be in the ship the whole day. And that will give you the opportunity to maximize the different activities or facilities on board. In our case, talaga nagpahinga lang kami, nag-chill kasi the past couple of days talagang sobrang ngarag talaga, patahayin talaga sa kakagala. The dining staff sa main dining room gave us a fun farewell performance. Most of them are Filipinos, by the way. They're also nice and may extra alaga talaga kapag alam nilang kabayan ka. So just like the usual, we just roamed around, endless eating, watched some shows, and then packed our things and left our luggages outside of our room for the room attendants to take and bring it to the pier tomorrow. It all comes to an end, so this will be the embarkation day, so the day we leave the ship and head to the airport going back home. We had breakfast muna dyan before we packed what's left of our things and left. As I've mentioned earlier, yung mga luggages nyo can be left outside your door the night prior, and your room attendant will be the one to have it forwarded and moved to the luggage claim area sa pier. So you won't have to. Of course, if you're not confident naman to have it, carried for you, then you can always carry it yourself instead. Also, the passports were also claimed na rin the night prior. So as you watch or travel back home, like promised sa earlier part of this video, I'll discuss with you kung magkano ba yung nagastos namin for this cruise. So for our cruise fare, zero. Yes po, wala po kami binayaran na cruise fare itself. Because I am actually a proud direct offshore employee of Royal Caribbean International, and this is one of our perks as employees. But my companions still had to pay for the taxes and fees and the gratuities. Depende yun kung magkano based on maraming factors talaga. But gratuities is like the tip, but this one is mandatory. Nag-average siya ng $15 to $20 per night, that's US dollars, per guest. In our case, for this itinerary, we paid $53 sa taxes and fees and $64 for the gratuities. So around 6,400 pesos per person, or 25,600 for 4 people. I know that wasn't very helpful and I apologize. But if you want an idea kung magkano mag-cruise ng same itinerary nung sa amin, we can take a look at the website of Royal Caribbean International. So here, since dalawang room kami, hindi ko na include sinala dito by the way, but 4 guests in 2 separate interior staterooms, including the taxes and fees and the gratuities, is $2,901.40, which is around 163,000 64,000 pesos. I know mahal siya, pero lahat ng nakita niyang ginawa namin sa vlog na to, except yung mga ginawa namin outside the ship, are all included na dyan. So like the food on board, the accommodation, different shows, entertainments, and activities. And dadalhin ka rin niya to different countries or places. It's pretty fair, I think. And also nga pala, may mga activities din, specialty restaurants, Wi-Fi, alcoholic drinks, among others na may separate na bayad. But can you just cruise without spending a single penny extra on top of yung binayaran mo na sa before you even boarded the ship? The answer is yes. So actually, as a matter of fact, wala na talaga kami binayaran dito aside from yung binayaran namin ng taxes and fees and gratuities. So ayun, that's it for this vlog. And if you want to have a more detailed video of taking a cruise, from how to book, how to get to the pier, checking in, requirements, and all the other stuff, let me know and I might create a separate video for it. So yeah, again, thank you so much for watching this vlog or this video, and I hope you subscribe and leave us a like and a comment as well, and we'll see you on the next one.
No, 70. What's that?